This is Talk About Topeka on Gab Local TV and TV 25. This episode brought to you by Field of Greens and The Break Room. And here's your host, Chris Schultz.
All right, so we're here in the GabLocal.tv studios, and my friends from the Topeka Capital-Journal are joining me again this week. We talked a little bit to them last week about a special section that was coming out in the Sunday paper, and it was all on downtown, and now that section is out, and you can find it on cjonline.com. We have Susan Cantrell. She is the Vice President of Sales and Marketing with us here, and we've got Morgan Chilson, who's the business editor. And thank you so much for joining us again. We wanted to talk a little bit more about this thing because it's a huge hit. It's a 44-page special section. Had a lot of really positive feedback about this thing. But when you were here last week, we talked a little bit about what this thing entailed to put together. And I wanted to do a little follow-up with that. So tell us a little bit about, I'll start over here. I know I told Frank I was going to talk to Susan first, so we'll put Susan's name up on the screen. So this is Susan right here. There you go. And then we have, okay, Morgan, I'll go to you because I want to get right to this question here. We have, you told a story about the 90s. There was a story about downtown that was kind of a section that was done in the paper because you worked with the paper at that time. And then now there's this section that came out in the paper. Contrast that a little bit for us.
Oh, that was great because I of course didn't remember it, and I went back and pulled that section out. And it was amazing to see people talking about all their visions and their dreams for the downtown, but there was a lot of conversation about why it's not happening. And so that was the focus of that whole section. What do we need to do this redevelopment downtown that is so necessary to Topeka and its economic development, to the general happiness of citizens? I mean, when you really look at having a unique place and entertainment district like we hope will happen. And so then I go downtown 16, 17 years later, and all everyone can talk about is all the great things that are happening. And there's still some of that concern, is this really going to come to fruition? The buildings have sold, are we going to get people there? But in general, the energy and enthusiasm, the ideas for what will happen between Riverfront, a downtown plaza, a lot of the things that are out there and potential developments was really cool to see.
Absolutely. So it was little blast from the past, right? To be able to go back and do that. Yeah. All right. And then Susan, this section, what do we hope to do with this? Because it's not only enlightening people who live here in Topeka, but it's also giving people from outside of the community the chance to see what's going on here as well, right?
Yeah. It's going to be the definitive piece, really, to talk about what's been done and what the immediate future looks like, and maybe even the long term, which is why it's really the first of what we hope is a multi-year series, because there's a lot going on, we know, in the next couple of years for downtown too. So that's what's exciting about it, is now it's living up on our website. So if you missed it in Sunday's paper, you can find it on CJ Online. We also, one of the important elements of this was to reach the surrounding communities, so that maybe people that lived in Manhattan or Lawrence that haven't been in downtown Topeka and seen what's happened and seen the new pocket parks and seen all the investment that's gone into rehabbing the buildings and the new stores and everything, if they come down for the Kansas concert this weekend, then they have read about it now because they've seen a digital version of the publication, and hopefully it will make them want to come into the concert, or maybe come in for the jazz concert later this year and really come check out all the cool things, because maybe they didn't know what was going on, or maybe they'd been here 5 years ago and had no idea how much development had gone on. The other cool thing about that is that now we have a section that we can either send to, potential investors. The Economic Development Corporation could use that, the Chamber, Downtown Inc. Everyone could use this as kind of, this is why people are so excited about downtown, and this is why you should commit to coming downtown.
Absolutely, and there's just so much positive energy moving around in downtown, so much development going on. So it is going to be very interesting to be able to, if you hang on to this section and next year the follow-up section comes out, how to get, because we just said, we're going back from the 90s to now, and now progress is moving so fast that we know that now already this year that next year is going to be something big, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
we've been seeing that.
Yes.
What do you guys feel, being from around here, like, what do you feel about what's been happening downtown, just personally?
Oh, I grew up here. So I remember buying school clothes at Macy's when it was downtown, and Montgomery Ward's was downtown, which is where the police department is now. So to see this kind of revitalization, and it does, I keep coming back to that, the downtown's the personality of a community, but it really feels like it's saying something about where we are in Topeka and what we can see for the future.
Absolutely.
Well, it's great because we're downtown too. The Topeka Capital-Journal is downtown. We're committed to downtown, obviously. We're a part of that. It's great to be able to walk and experience that on lunch hour and see the energy and the excitement, more restaurants, more businesses that you can frequent during the work hours. That's kind of a personal and a professional interest.
And the section, and something you said last week that kind of enlightened me was, that it started out as an 8-page section, went up to 44 pages, and a lot of that had to do with the fact that there was so much interest from people to help bring this to light, to help put it in from the business community. There a lot of people have gotten involved with this project, and even to help that shows that the pendulum has shifted since the 90s, right?
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, pretty much everyone you talked to was like, oh yeah, we're committed to telling our story about why downtown is so important.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we hope you checked it out on cjonline.com. Of course, if you go to gablocal.tv to watch our full interviews, we talked to these ladies on the show last week. We also spoke with Zach Ahrens, the president and publisher from the newspaper. We really do appreciate all the cool things they're doing, from the 66 tornado. You can check out that one on cjonline.com. Or if you find our links on our website, you can then be jumped right on over to the Capital-Journal's website, or just go to cjonline.com and it'll be right there for you on their front page. So check it out. Thank you so much, Susan.
Thank you.
And Morgan, thank you so much for joining us. Really do appreciate you dropping by. And thanks for
appreciate
all
it.
this hard work. This is something our whole community can be very proud of.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
bet.
I'm really proud of it.
Absolutely.
This episode brought to you by Field of Greens and The Break Room, because TV25 cares.